Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And the name of today's podcast is Do You Have the Patience to Achieve Your Goals? And the idea of this podcast came to me when I read this quote, trees that are slow to grow bear the best fruit. And I know most of us know this intellectually. When we're patient, we often take the time to do things right. When we're patient, we're able to see a task to the end. When we're patient, we often make a better decision. And after watching many people in business over the years and in their personal lives and in my own experience, I often find the reason we are not patient is that we fear the unknown. And I know I talk about uncertainty all the time, but our relationship with uncertainty determines the relationships that we have, the businesses we're willing to start, the things that we are strong enough to do in our life. When we fear the unknown, when we believe the future will not offer us new possibilities, when we're afraid to take a risk, when we're afraid that our dreams can't come true, we don't have patience. The fear overwhelms us, and sometimes we act too quickly. We become impulsive. We don't allow sometimes for a situation to have some space, to form a little bit more before we act. And yes, it is tricky because sometimes we wait and we don't act when we need to. But I truly believe that if we are not afraid of the unknown, we're going to know when the time is right. We're going to be connected to our heart. We're going to be connected to the things we truly want. We're going to be connected to our gut instinct, and we're going to know the right time to act. This reminds me of a story from years ago. When I was an attorney, I was representing this company. It was very high tech. They had a lot of amazing things going on. And the owner had been in business for 5 years, and he got an offer on his business. And he came to me and said, Allison, do you think that I should sell? And I was looking at this really creative person. It seemed like he was at the right place at the right time. And I didn't think that he should sell. And I asked him, why do you think that you should sell the company at this point? And he said to me, well, I've been working really hard for 5 years, and I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to take this company all the way. I believe in the product, but things always feel so uncertain. I don't know if I can continue. And so because I tried to talk him out of selling, he actually hired someone else to do the sale. And it turns out the sale fell through. And he still owns the business today. 20 years later, the business has grown 100 times. He is extremely wealthy, extremely successful, and every holiday season he sends me this big gift and he writes, thank you. But the only difference between the two of us was that I was not afraid of the unknown for him. And again, it's much easier to not be afraid for someone else than to not be afraid for ourselves. But he's even told me that he was just scared that he didn't have what it took, but it was his dream to follow this through. And I've seen this so many times. I've seen when people have patience, they make better business decisions. When they have patience, they begin things in a much more responsive, open, creative way, and they even end things better. Sometimes when I think about the end of my relationship with my ex-husband-to-be, he had no patience. He left so quickly. He left with so little thought and consideration to the people he left behind. And then he jumped into something new. I remember when he called me 4 months after he left, and he was already in another relationship and he was already dating. And I almost couldn't even catch my breath. I was really taking my time. And maybe the difference between the two of us was I had worked so hard on my relationship with uncertainty that I wasn't afraid of the future. I knew that uncertainty was my best friend. I had no idea what would happen next, but I knew that I had possibilities, and I took my time. I worked on processing my pain. I worked on getting stronger. I created beautiful opportunities for myself. And for me, most of all, I finished bringing up my children to make sure they were launched the way they deserve to be. So he was running out there thinking he was out of time, that time wasn't on his side, and he had to jump right back into a new life. But for me, I had patience. And I have to say, 4 years later, I have no idea what his circumstances are, but I know for me, being responsive, being patient, and not being afraid of uncertainty, I have made some really wonderful choices, and I feel strong and centered and ready to keep expanding and keep living. And know that patience is a hope. It allows us to sit in the moment, connect with our heart, connect with our dreams, connect with what's real, and make the best decisions for ourselves in that moment. Do we make mistakes? Of course we do. But I'd rather make a mistake from the moment feeling something is right than make a mistake because I'm afraid of the future, than make a mistake because I'm afraid I can't have the life that I want, or I'm too afraid of what will be. So patience creates a responsive life. Patience gives us the time to dream and to make a plan and to work on that plan every day. And don't worry again that you will miss on an opportunity, because if you are not afraid of uncertainty, I truly believe that we know when to act. Could it be scary? Of course. I make scary decisions every day. But there's a difference between something that's scary because it's new, because it's adventurous, because you've never done it before, than making a decision really quickly because you can't bear waiting. Or you make a decision because you're afraid if you miss this opportunity, there'll never be another one down the road. So yes, it could be scary sometimes because we have to pass up on certain things. We have to allow things to be. And sometimes we have to allow things to be really uncomfortable, especially if we want to have patience in a relationship. Sometimes we want something so badly we jump in too quickly. We try to control things. We try to possess things. We try to get too close to someone before it's time. And we could actually ruin the potential of a beautiful new relationship, whether it's romantic or friendship, because we're so afraid we're not going to have what we want. But there's a rhythm to life, and there's a rhythm to patience. That if a relationship is meant to be, it will have its rhythm, it will have its time. And if something pulls you away or pulls them away, then we have to know that it was not meant to be, and that uncertainty will bring new opportunities for us once again if we work on ourselves, we're responsive, we stay in our heart, and we have the patience to create the life that we want. Building a business takes patience. Building a new relationship takes patience. Working on ourselves takes patience. Creating the life that we truly desire, reaching our full potential, doing something that's new and different, it all takes patience. And in order to be patient, you have to not fear what you don't know. You have to allow things to be unknown. You have to trust that you'll be okay. You have to trust that you have what it takes. And trust there's a purpose and a path for you. That your life has meaning, and what you desire desires you. It just hasn't happened yet. Patience is one of the key traits that we need to have to create a better life, a different life, a new life. And trust me, I get it. Because sometimes the pain or feeling bad or starting something new can be so challenging. It's easy to react. It's easy to grasp for what we know or go back and try to have something that we once had. But if we could just be patient and stay present and stay heart-based, and you could stay centered, I truly believe that you could have the life that you dream of. Don't let the unknown scare you. Don't let the unknown make you believe you can't have the life that you want. Everything always keeps changing. We can't stop that change, but we can embrace it, and we could flow with it, and we could find the rhythm of our lives, and part of that rhythm is patience. And you always have that maybe practice. If you get too afraid, if you feel like you're going to start grasping, if you feel like you're going to start getting desperate, remember that maybe everything is okay just the way it is. Maybe creating a new life takes time. And maybe everything you want can still happen in the unknown future. Your life has hope, and your life has maybe. You just need to have enough patience to get there. And when you could again live with an open heart and hold that hope and hold your dreams, then we create that possibility that maybe the best is yet to come. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you could email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to read my books, The Gift of Maybe or A Year Without Men, they're available at all major bookstores and online retailers. And if you like this podcast, you could subscribe and leave a comment.